All right, let's get into it. Today, we are digging into the massive corporate earthquake that is shaking the very foundations of DC Entertainment. We're talking about everything from blockbuster games to the future of its entire cinematic universe. It's all up in the air. So what is really going on behind the scenes at Warner Bros. Discovery?
Okay, so let's just dive right into the news that has absolutely rocked the gaming community. For 15 years, WB Games has been a powerhouse, right? They gave us masterpieces like the Batman Arkham series. But now, that entire legacy, that whole division, could be on the verge of just disappearing.
So to get our heads around this whole complex situation, we've broken this down into 4 key parts. We're going to start with the crisis over at WB Games, then we'll look at the huge corporate merger that's driving all this, see how it's affecting Batman specifically, and finally we'll explore what it all means for James Gunn's new DC universe.
First up, the potential collapse of WB Games. And this isn't just about 1 or 2 games getting canceled. We're talking about an entire division that's responsible for some of the most beloved games of the last 20 years. So the big question is, why on earth would this be happening now?
So what this really boils down to is a huge clash in business philosophy. On one side, you have Warner Bros., which makes its own games from the ground up. Now, that approach can lead to monster hits like Hogwarts Legacy, but it can also lead to really expensive duds like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. But then on the other side, you have the potential new owner, Paramount, and from what we're hearing, they want completely out of the high-risk, high-reward game development business. Their plan would probably be to sell off the studios or maybe just license out characters like Batman to other companies. It would be a total reset of how they do things.
So why would they make such a drastic change? Well, the answer is right here. It's this one single colossal number. The combined debt of a merged Warner Bros. And Paramount could be as high as $70 billion. See, this is all part of a huge race to consolidate and compete with giants like Disney. And to slash that massive debt, a super expensive division like game development, where a single big title can cost $400 million and take years to make, well, that becomes a very, very attractive target for cuts.
And look, this isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. This has real-world consequences for all of us fans. A potential Arkham reboot? It could be scrapped before it even starts. Injustice 3? Who knows? It could be delayed for years or maybe never happen at all. Even a titan like Mortal Kombat would face a massive restructuring, and all those secret DC projects we hoped were in the works, they could be canceled before we ever even find out they existed. The risk has just gotten way too big for the potential reward.
All right, let's zoom out a bit and look at the bigger corporate picture here. Because this isn't just some simple purchase, it's a high-stakes chess match for control of some of the most valuable characters and stories on the entire planet.
So in public, Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav is projecting absolute confidence. He's out there talking about the company's great success and this powerful attack plan for DC, all led by James Gunn and Peter Safran. He wants everyone to think that things aren't just stable, they're actually thriving.
But, and this is a big but, most industry analysts see this for what it probably is, a tactic. You don't go around talking down your company when you're trying to sell it, right? Every single positive statement, every promise of a bright future, it's all designed to pump up the company's price tag and make sure that this deal goes through on the best possible terms. It's really just business 101.
And you can see just how serious Paramount is. I mean, they are playing to win. First, they reportedly paid their rival, Netflix, a mind-boggling $3 billion just to get them out of the bidding war. Next, they move in to acquire Warner's entire library of characters. And finally, they want to go on a production spree, releasing over 30 movies a year and making sure they all have a solid run in theaters. They are betting big on the cinema experience coming back.
You know, what's really fascinating here is how you can see all of this corporate turmoil reflected through just one character. Batman. The whole production journey of Matt Reeves' amazing saga is like a perfect case study of the chaos that's been swirling around Warner Bros. For years.
Just look at this timeline. The first movie was greenlit when AT&T was in charge. By the time it actually came out, the company had been sold to Discovery. And now the sequel, which is supposed to come out in 2027, will almost certainly be released under a third corporate regime, Paramount. For one single creative trilogy to be managed by 3 different corporate overlords, that is just incredibly unusual, and it really shows you how unstable things have been.
But hey, here's a little bit of good news for all the fans out there. Despite all the drama going on in the boardroom, the actual creative work is pushing forward. The cameras are set to start rolling on The Batman Part 2 at the end of May, which is a great sign that no matter what happens at the top, they're determined to keep this project on track.
Okay, so for our last piece of this puzzle, let's talk about the new DC universe. With all this change going on, how is that big master plan from James Gunn and Peter Safran actually holding up? The answer is, well, it's complicated. Some projects are full steam ahead, while others are being quietly reshaped by all these new financial pressures.
Yeah, this table really lays it all out. On one hand, you've got Superman, which starts filming this month and is already getting high praise from Paramount's own CEO. But then you have a riskier project like The Authority, which, according to rumors, is now shifting from live action to animation, which is a really clear cost-saving move. And then you have Lanterns, which has just become this unexpected massive hit with the fans.
And you know, that potential pivot for The Authority is actually really telling. This is a complex, pretty edgy property that would be incredibly expensive to do in live action. By making it animated, the studio can keep the budget under control, manage the creative risks, and still get the story to the fans without having to bet hundreds of millions of dollars. It's a smart, pragmatic move in an era where everyone's trying to save a buck.
But in the middle of all this uncertainty, there has been one huge positive signal from the fans. The announcement for the Lanterns series, after years and years of false starts, has been met with just overwhelming excitement. It proves there's a huge appetite for this part of the DC universe.
And we've got the numbers to prove it. This isn't just a feeling. The teaser for Lanterns pulled in almost 1.8 million views in just its first 24 hours. That is more than the teaser for the super hyped-up Penguin series and nearly double the announcement for Peacemaker Season 2. The hype is definitely real, and the data backs it up.
So what's driving all this hype? Well, it's the promise of finally getting this story right. The series is going to focus on the two fan-favorite Lanterns, Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, and it's being structured as this mystery on Earth that then explodes into a giant cosmic adventure. It's a really smart approach, and it seems to be exactly what fans have been waiting for.
So after all of that, we're left with this one big question. What we're watching is basically a battle for the soul of DC. On one side, you have these immense corporate pressures, massive debt, and a strategy that's all about cutting costs and reducing risk. And on the other, you have a new creative vision that's trying to build this vibrant, exciting, interconnected universe. So will this massive shakeup finally streamline the company and unleash a new golden age for these characters? Or will the corporate chaos just end up stifling the creative renaissance before it even has a chance to begin? That is the multi-billion-dollar question.